All right. So once you find your seat, let's start with 3 clearing breaths together. So taking in whatever you're carrying with you, we'll release it on the exhale. So inhale through the nose, exhale out the mouth. 2 more times. And last time. So as you find your seat and settle in, we'll soften the gaze, maybe close the eyes, and start to tune into your breath. So we're watching how the body moves as you inhale and exhale. Maybe noticing any subtle things in the body that you're aware of today. The next few exhales, you could offer some release to the neck, the jaw, the eyes. And maybe cultivate a sense of appreciation for just being able to watch the breath, to carve out the time to be able to appreciate the breath. Since we just had the solstice on Monday, it's a nice time to find a sense of release and kind of set intentions for the new chapter. So we'll bring hands to heart center when you're ready. Either Anjali Mudra, palms pressed together, or turn your palms to face your heart, one hand on top of the other. 2 options. And you might think about your intention, that you have something that you're trying to manifest, or maybe even something that you're trying to release to make space for new things in the new year. And with that in mind, we'll start practice with 3 Brahmhari breaths. So the sound of Om with lips pressed together the entire time. It will sound like you're humming. It's also known as the bee's breath. So if you'd like to, feel free to join in, or you can also just listen to me. So let's take a full exhale out and an inhale in to prepare. As you exhale, start to bring the hands down, blink the eyes open, and we'll start to make our way to tabletop, so hands and knees. And for that alignment, we'll make sure the shoulders are right over the wrists, hips are over the knees, and start to tilt your tailbone up, belly drops for cow pose. Exhale, draw belly button up and in, draw chin to chest, tailbone rounds down. And use these movements to connect with the breath. So full inhale to find your full cow pose. Use your full exhale to let the spine round and draw chin to chest. And take note of how your spine is doing today, how your body's feeling. And if there are any spots that are talking to you right away, let's start to breathe into that space. So as if you could actually breathe into that area. Invite space there and then release as you exhale. And a few more rounds like this. As always, you're welcome to have a more audible breath. Use Ujjayi pranayama if you'd like to. That nice warming breath that can offer that little bit of heat for the beginning of practice and throughout practice. And sometime in the next few exhales, let's make our way to child's pose. So for some of us, it's nice to walk the hands forward and extend the hips and exhale the hips back. So you can ease your way there if your low back's particularly tight today. And if you're ready for stillness, maybe you're already there, forehead resting down, arms are relaxed, a few breaths into the back body. And continue to maintain your depth of breath so that you can feel that expansion, maybe at that space between the shoulder blades, maybe the low back. All right, next inhale, let's lift up to tabletop. And in your tabletop, we'll step that left foot back, tuck the toes. So left leg is extended long, toes are tucked. You can rock forward and back. Feel that stretch in the calf. And let's start to find a neutral place. Shoulders are right over the wrists again. Imagine you have a corset on and that you're tightening it. So your corset is your core muscles. And feel that nice squeeze in towards center and lift that left leg. See if you can invite a little bit of length to the back of the spine. So if you feel like you have kind of wrinkles at the back of the neck, let's keep the gaze down. And take a breath here. Press through that back sole of the foot like you're pressing a wall behind you. And we'll exhale, draw knee to nose. So round the spine, knee to nose. And inhale, press that left foot back. So we'll do this 3 times total. So every exhale, you're drawing knee to nose. Every inhale, you're pressing that left foot back without letting the belly collapse down. And last time. And take an inhale to find that leg pressing back. If you want to, we'll float the right arm forward. So as if you have a tray on your back that you don't want to spill whatever's on the tray. We'll find a hold for one more breath and set everything down. Cat and cow to flush it out. Wiggles, movement. And when you're ready, let's find that second side. So right foot steps back, tuck the toes. Feel free to rock forward and back if that movement feels helpful for your calf muscles. And then find your neutral place, engage your core, and lift the right foot up. Take a breath here, and we'll exhale knee to nose. So take your time with this movement. Use the entire inhale to press the leg back, entire exhale to round the spine. And on the third time that you press that right sole of the foot back, let's take a pause. Did your belly drop down? Let's draw it back up and float the left arm forward if you'd like. So all of these options are steps along the way that you can choose to take or not, depending on how you're feeling. So don't listen to the compass of your body. And let's set everything down. Move around, find cat and cow. So intuitive movement, always encouraged. And let's inhale, cow pose. Tuck the toes. Exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. So take a couple of breaths here to make sure your hands are spread wide. So fingers spread wide, knuckles are what's grounding you down. Tailbone lifts. And I'm keeping my knees kind of bent here, so prioritize more that length in the spine. And And eventually we'll start to walk the hands back to the feet. So hands walk back to the feet. You'll probably have to bend your knees a lot. We'll fold forward at the back of the mat. And just let the head hang if you want to. You can grab opposite elbows, add that little bit of weight. We'll all shake the head yes and no. If you need to, forearms can come to thighs. And breathe into all of the space that's being created at the back of your legs. And start to bend your knees a lot. And let's roll up one vertebra at a time. You can bring hands to thighs to support you. And find Tadasana at the back of your mat. Notice if you're leaning forward or back. And let's find that even weight. And from that even place in the feet, draw your crown of the head up to the sky. So nice, tall spine. And right away, check in with the low back. Notice if the belly is sort of jutting out. We'll have a gentle activation of the core here, like you're drawing your hip points toward your ribs. And we'll inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, soften the knees, hinge forward at the hips, and fold and walk the hands forward for downward facing dog. Shift forward into your plank pose. So shoulders over the wrists, knees up or down, and you're always welcome to be on forearms if you need to. And we'll find a few breaths in plank pose. So you can make all of those little adjustments here, isometric activations. If you want to add sensation, you'll be dragging hands and feet toward one another. Make sure your hips aren't over your shoulders, but forming that nice straight line. And when you're ready, let's lower the knees down and keep your knees down and lower your chest and chin down. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Lower the belly all the way down and have your hands by your ribs. And start to draw your shoulder blades together. So before we even lift up, draw the shoulder blades together so your elbows point to the back of the mat. And we'll lift up for low cobra. And exhale, lower down. 2 more times like that. Inhale, lift. Activate the core, activate that muscle between the shoulder blades. Exhale, lower. And last time. Exhale, lowers you down. Take an inhale, plank pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. A few breaths. Notice the space. And next inhale, start to walk the hands back toward the feet. Fold forward at the back of the mat. And rise all the way up. And bring hands to heart center and down. A few breaths into Tadasana. So just check in with your body. Notice your breath, and we'll rise the arms up. Exhale, soften the knees, fold forward. Halfway lift to inhale. So fingertips to shins, lift the spine up halfway. Core is nice and active. Exhale, fold, and walk the hands forward. Downward facing dog. Shift the shoulders over the wrists for plank pose. Drop the knees down. This time, keep your chest lifted, and we'll start to shift the shoulders ahead of the wrists. So you can look at me if you want to. We'll start to turn the elbows so that they face the back of the mat. So more of a tricep push-up, and I'll turn this way. So we're not pushing up like this. We're turning the elbows, pushing up like that. Yeah. So if you'd like to, we'll take little pulses of that push-up. So you can lower down as you exhale, and you can lower down 1 inch, maybe lower, but preparing for chaturanga. Okay, let's take one more of those. And next inhale, press yourself up, sit the hips back to child's pose. And start to bring your hands into prayer and bring your thumbs to the back of the neck. You can walk your elbows forward if you want to. Sit the hips back heavy. And take a few breaths here. And next inhale, start to release the hands down. Find tabletop, sorry, my words are crazy today, and downward facing dog. So lift the hips, press into your knuckles. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. And this time we'll look to the hands, bend the knees a lot, and walk forward to fold. So folding forward at the top of the mat this time. Halfway lift to inhale. So activating all of these corset muscles. And exhale, fold. Press into the feet, circle your arms out and up, reach up and bring hands to heart center and down, Tadasana. In Tadasana, see if you can activate a little bit more. So hip points draw towards your ribs, core is engaged. Maybe even get that sense of kneecaps sort of drawing up toward the thighs. And check in with your glutes. Did your butt clench? Let's release that a little bit. So just adding subtle strengthening things. Circle the arms out and up. Exhale, soften the knees, fold forward. Halfway lift to inhale. Exhale, fold, and step the left foot back, runner's lunge. Drop to the left knee and rise up your way for Anjaneyasana. So settle in. Soften your shoulders and breathe. Take one more breath here. As you exhale, plant your hands down. Step back, plank pose, and make your way to downward facing dog. If you want to add in that activation, we'll lower the knees down and shift the shoulders forward and take those pulses 3 times for that chaturanga push-up. So a tricep push-up, 3 rounds. And then you can lower all the way down and inhale to cobra. So cobra is heart lifting. You can press into the hands and lift the heart, straighten the arms for upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. So layering on all of the options for the flow. Start to drag that left heel up to the sky. You can keep it parallel to the ground or lift it higher. And we'll draw knee to nose, hover shoulders over wrists. Inhale, lift that left leg up, 3-legged dog. So 2 more times like that. As you draw knee to nose, try to hug that thigh towards your chest. Inhale, lift it up. And last time, we'll draw knee to nose, step that foot forward, runner's lunge. Step the right foot forward and fold. Halfway lift to inhale. Reset your spine. Exhale, fold, and rise yourself up. And bring hands through heart center and down, Tadasana. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, soften the knees, fold. Halfway lift to inhale. Exhale, fold. Step that right foot back, drop to the right knee, and rise up. And if you're watching this in the recording, you're welcome to add padding under the knee. As always, a folded blanket could be helpful. Settle into your edge of sensation. Draw your pubic bone towards belly button. And exhale, hands plant down. Step back, plank pose, and find that flow. So you can lower the knees down, shift the shoulders forward. 3 push-ups, tricep push-ups. Let that lead you all the way down to cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the hips. Take an inhale, drag that right heel up and back, 3-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders hover over wrists. 2 more times like that. So kind of having a kinship to what we did earlier in tabletop. This time, adding a little bit more activation in the arm muscles, That third time, the right knee draws to nose, step it forward, runner's lunge, step the left foot forward, and fold. Halfway lift to inhale, exhale, fold, and rise yourself all the way up. Bring hands to heart center and down by the sides. Let's grab that strap. So I think our arms are warm. So arms are warm. We'll grab that strap and we'll just move through some shoulder flossing. So if that doesn't sound really exciting and great. So have your strap. Mine's super long, so I have it just kind of folded. So if yours is super long, you could do that too. And know that you can have it at the full length also. But straps in front of you, kind of wider than shoulders. And we'll bring the hands down by the sides. Take an inhale, reach the arms up, pull on the strap gently as you reach your arms up. And see if you can draw your shoulders or your arms a little bit back and forward and down. So we'll do that 3 more times. So inhale, lift up, find that sense of drawing the shoulders back, and you can even start to widen your hands on the strap. So you might actually need the full length of your strap. So adjust as needed. But check in with your shoulders, see if you can keep shoulders away from ears as you do this. This is really about finding enough tension that we can actually open some of the shoulder area. And on the next round or two, maybe you can widen your arms enough so that you can reach back. So yeah, if you need to unfold your strap, do that. But let's find this full range of motion, if that's available to you, 3 more times. So lifting up and back. And if you need to stop somewhere along the way, like maybe this is where you stop, that's totally fine. Okay. Yeah, and let's keep flossing. So a couple more rounds. I lost count. Sorry, I wasn't looking at you, but about 4 rounds forward and back. Yeah. Whew. And then when you're done with your couple of rounds, you can set the strap down and we'll bring hands to heart center. So nice way to just get that heart rate lifting is do anything with your arms. So hands are at heart center. Start to invite some balance. So shift your gaze downward and we'll lift that left leg up, single leg Tadasana. So as always, toes can stay closer to the ground. Use your core here and we'll step the left foot back for high crescent lunge. And inhale, reach the arms up. So back heel is lifted, legs are still pretty buoyant. And you can press that left heel back and straighten that leg a little bit more. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, let's link the hands behind or grab opposite elbows. And we'll sort of shrug the shoulders back and down. So space through the front of the heart. And check in with your legs. Let's start to activate the legs by scissoring the thighs toward one another. So draw your thighs toward one another isometrically. Keep your core slightly engaged. And when you're ready, start to release the arms. Reach the arms up. Exhale, hands plant down. Step back, plank pose, and flow your way. If you're interested in those push-ups, we'll drop knees down. Find those 3 pulses, or you can go back to knees, chest, chin, to cobra, or upward facing, downward facing dog. So I wanted to invite a little bit more heat to the shoulders, a little bit more strength there. Start to drag the left heel up and back, 3-legged dog. Exhale, step it forward, runner's lunge. And step the right foot forward and fold. Halfway lift to inhale. Exhale, fold. And rise yourself up. Bring hands to heart center. Find that balance again. We'll lift the right leg up. Single leg Tadasana. Step it back for your high crescent lunge. Land on the ball of your right foot and reach the arms up. So a moment to settle in. And just like we do in the low crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana, core is still working, hip points draw toward the ribs, even as you press that right heel back. Bring your hands behind you, grabbing either opposite elbow or opposite thumb on top, and draw your shoulders back and down. Soften the jaw. A couple of breaths like this. So even if we're heading into the winter season, I have been wanting to find a little bit of warmth. So hopefully you're feeling warm. Release the elbows or hands, reach the arms up. Hands plant down, runner's lunge, step back, plank pose, and flow your way. And you're always welcome to change anything. So if you need to take rest, if you want to go back to that knees, chest, chin, to cobra variation, do what you need to do. But down dog is where we'll meet. Drag that right heel up to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, step it forward, runner's lunge. Step the left foot forward and fold. Halfway lift to inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. And we'll rise all the way up. Bring hands to heart center. So take a breath. Notice the warmth in the body. And we'll lift left knee up, single leg Tadasana. Step it back, high crescent lunge. Arms reach up. This time we'll open up warrior two. So knife edge of that left foot is down. Right knee is right over the right ankle. And drop your tailbone down slightly and reach your arms out. So we're actively reaching the arms out. And flip your palms to face the sky and have that sense of shoulder blades dragging down and back. So space around the ears. Let's find this for one more breath. On the next inhale, start to tip it back. Peaceful warrior. So left hand to left thigh, right arm reaches up and over. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down and step back, downward facing dog. If you're really craving a flow, you can add that in or find your rest here. Start to look to your hands, bend the knees a lot, and walk or hop forward to fold. Halfway lift to inhale, exhale, fold, and rise up. And bring hands to heart center. Second side, right leg lifts. And step it back, high crescent lunge. Arms reach up. Prepare to open it up, warrior two. Knife edge of the right foot is down. And we'll stay here and just invite that breath to circulate all throughout all of the activation you feel happening in the legs. Flip the palms up to the sky. Shoulders roll down and back. Soften your jaw. And when you're ready, let's tip it back. Peaceful warrior, keep the bend in the front knee. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. And step back, down dog. Again, if you're feeling flow, go for it. But this can be a nice opportunity to just reset if you find stillness. Look to the hands. Bend the knees a lot. And walk or hop to fold forward. Halfway lift to inhale. Exhale, fold, and rise up. And bring hands to heart center. So a couple of breaths here. See if you can soften your gaze a little bit, soften any of the effort in the jaw, the face. And we'll start to lift that left leg up. So I'll face you and mirror you. Left leg lifts. And start to open that left leg over to the left. So we're preparing for tree pose. So you can land that left foot on the ground, on the calf, or to the inner thigh. So wherever you're working with, just make sure you're not pressing on your knee. And if you have your foot on the ground, press your toes down so that you can draw that left knee back. And take a few breaths. So hands can stay at heart center. You can raise them up overhead. And make sure your standing leg isn't locking up at the knee. A little micro bend in the standing leg. So vrksasana, or tree pose, we're rooting down so that we can rise, finding that nice quiet moment amidst all of the heat we were building. Nice control. On your next breath in, let's start to exit the pose and come back to single leg Tadasana. So left knee forward. And before you step it down, let's cross that leg behind. So left leg crosses behind the right. We'll reach the arms up and side bend over to the right side. So side bending with the cross of the back leg. And inhale, center, hands draw to heart center. Come back to Dandasana. Maybe you're stumbling around like I am. And we'll find the second side. So hands to heart center again. Set your drishti, your gaze, your point of focus. And lift the right knee up. Right knee lifts. Start to open the right knee out to the right. And set up for tree pose this side. Again, if you're choosing to keep the foot on the ground, we're pressing the toes down so that we can continue that external rotation of the right hip, or same thing into the leg. You're pressing that right foot into the left thigh. Soften the standing leg's knee. And take your arm variation of choice. Breathe into all that you're feeling. Really nice focus. When you're ready to exit, see if you can do it with control. Start to release that foot for single-legged Tadasana. Cross that right foot behind the left, and we'll grab hold of the right wrist with the left hand, side bend over to your left side. So knees stay soft. And let's inhale through center, uncross the legs. And start to head to the front of your mat, and we'll be feet about mat distance apart. And if you have your block, you can set it behind you. We're going to find a seat. Well, we're heading to malasana, or squat. So hands to heart center. We'll sit the hips down, and maybe you're sitting on your block or not. So I just put that option there out for you in case it feels nice and supportive. Yeah, try different settings. And notice what that does for you. If it gives you a little more access to bring your heart toward your thumbs, maybe you're gently pressing your upper arm bones into your legs, pressing your legs into your arm bones. So finding that balance where we're not trying too hard, but there's a little bit of effort. And breathe into this connection you're making with your lower chakra, or your first chakra. And when you're ready to start to exit out, release that pressing of the legs, and maybe you can just shift into a seat from here. But we're all going to meet in a seat. And once you're there, we'll find boat pose. So Hands can be at the backs of the knees. You can start to cinch your core in and lean back. Hover the thighs or hover the shins off of the ground. So shins can be at tabletop. You can reach the arms forward. See if you can still have that openness through the heart, space around the ears. And one more breath. With control, let's start to lower the feet down. Reach forward and roll onto your back. But before you go, make sure you have your blocks with you. So blocks and strap are within arm's reach. And start to lower yourself down. Feel free to hug knees to chest. Give yourself a rock side to side. Maybe a nice low back massage. And let's start to lower the feet down. If you have your block, let's bring it between the thighs. If you don't have a block, know that you can squeeze an invisible block, but your feet are about hip distance apart. Knees are right over the ankles. Hands right by your sides. Start to squeeze the block between the thighs and lift the hips up for your bridge pose. Lots of arm variations. You can grab the edges of your mat. If it's in your practice, maybe you're rolling your shoulders under and clasping the hands behind. But again, if that's not easily accessible, you don't have to force that. More importantly, squeeze your thighs. Feel your tailbone slightly round down. Core is still a nice cage of support. 3 more breaths, maintaining your squeeze. Soften your glutes a little bit. When you're ready to come out, let's lower one vertebra at a time. So the upper back, the mid back, then the low back lowers down. Release your block. Heel toe the feet out wide and windshield wiper knees side to side. All right. When you're ready, let's start to bring knees back through center. Heel toe your feet back in and grab your strap. And keep your left foot on the ground and start to sling your right foot into your strap and make sure that you can grab the strap with both hands. So one hand on each side. And right away, start to just press that foot into the strap. Drop your shoulders to the ground. Feel that little bit of resistance. And if you want to add sensation, you'll be dragging your foot towards the top of your mat. But keep a nice micro bend in that right knee. And if you'd like to, you can start to straighten that left leg long. So if that feels okay for you, make sure your hips can stay heavy. And we'll take an inhale through center. As you exhale, start to drop that right foot over to the right. So we're externally rotating that hip, and switch your strap to the right hand. And bring your left hand to the left hip. So make sure it stays down, and only go so far as you can go while keeping your left hip down. But sort of like expanding what we were doing in the tree pose. Breathe for one more breath here. With control, see if you can use your core to draw that right leg up through center. And bring it maybe 6 inches over to the left. So you can switch the strap into your left hand and bring your right thumb to that front of the right hip, so that hip crease, so that you can keep it down here. So we're just planting that there so that you can keep your hips down. And press your right foot into that diagonal left area and see what that does. Maybe you're feeling a bit of stretch along that outside of the right leg. Again, only go so far as it feels interesting. And we're not in a twist, so that right hip stays down for now. One more breath. And if you'd like to, we'll start to twist here. So if it feels safe, you'll bring your right hand down back to the ground and draw the left leg over to the left. So only go as far as it feels okay for your low back. Finding that bit of a twist. And let's inhale through center. Release the strap, hug knees to chest, and we'll find that second side. So this time, right foot plants on the ground, sling that left foot, and press the left sole of the foot to the sky. Right away, notice how that feels. Hips stay grounded. The straps, one in each hand. And then maybe your right leg can stretch long. So creating this sort of L shape with the legs. Start to shift your strap into the left hand and bring your right hand to your right hip. And then start to open the left leg out to the left. So take your time. Notice what that feels like. Maybe you're resting your upper left arm bone on the ground, your elbow, to add some leverage or support, I guess. So that external rotation, maybe you're feeling lots of space on the inside of that left leg. And let's take one more breath here. And inhale through center. Switch hands, so right hand grabs both straps, left thumb to the inner crease of the left thigh. And again, you're crossing over maybe 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches, and press that sole of the foot, that left sole of the foot to that right diagonal. So we're hoping for some stretch along that left IT band, that nice long muscle along the outside of that left leg. And keep your foot flexed. Ooh, okay, and when you're ready, you can release that left hand from the hip crease, bring it to the ground, and take a safe twist, so only go as far as feels okay for your low back. Yeah, so drawing that left leg all the way over to the right. Again, you can rest on that right elbow. One breath here. Whew, okay. When you're ready, with control, bring everything through center, release your strap, hug knees to chest, give yourself a rock side to side. And eventually, let's start to make our way to either, well, happy baby first. You can draw your knees towards your armpits, grab your shins or feet. Maybe your feet are flexed, you can rock side to side. Eventually, you can bring your feet down and find feet together, knees apart. You can always support yourself. We did a lot with the legs and the arms today. So you can add in your blocks or pillows, whatever you have as support for your legs, or do without. Supta Baddha Konasana. You can face your palms to the sky. And hopefully this is a nice moment of ease and rest. Let's take a couple more breaths here. When you're ready to exit, move your props out of the way. press your thighs together with your hands. And if there's another pose you want to take before Shavasana, feel free. Maybe your legs up the wall. You can extend the legs up toward the sky, even the arms. Yeah, just adding that sense of reversing the flow of energy. We can stay here for about 5 rounds of breath. And if you feel like coming out before that, feel free. This is our final pose before Shavasana. All right, when you're ready, lower your arms and legs down. Find your corpse pose that feels comfortable. Your palms can face the sky. Take up as much space as you have available. Allow yourself to feel heavy, supported by the ground beneath you. The solstice is the most yin time of the year, so connected to that element of earth, and an opportunity to release something into the earth to be transmuted. As you cultivate this stillness for yourself, observe the spaces between your thoughts, even the spaces between each breath, and connecting to that stillness that you always have access to. Feel free to stay in Shavasana for as long as you'd like to. If you feel called to start moving, You can start with small movements, maybe even a deep breath in. Eventually, those movements can grow into larger ones, maybe a full body stretch or drawing knees to chest. You can start to rest on one side before pressing yourself up to a seat. And once you get up to your seat, gaze stays soft, your eyes could be closed, hands rest wherever is comfortable. And breathe into that same length of the spine that we've been cultivating through practice. And take this moment to appreciate the practice you've done, the sensations you were able to cultivate and move through. And we'll bring hands to heart center. You can bring to mind the intention you may have had, and we'll send that out with a single Om together. Feel free to listen or join in. And take an inhale. Bowing our heads to our hearts, we honor the practice we've done today. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May our practice bear fruit, and may that fruit benefit all beings everywhere. As always, thank you. Thank you for being here and practicing with me. I appreciate you. And take care.